Hi, this is Raman, your tutor from Alberta Real Estate School. Today we'll take a look at a real estate assurance fund. So, what is a real estate assurance fund? Real estate assurance fund has been set up to compensate consumers who suffer a financial loss. This financial loss could be due to fraud. So, a real estate agent may have been part of a fraudulent scheme. So, somebody bought a house, but they actually didn't get that property, or there was something wrong with the property. Overall, this was a fraudulent scheme that a layman actually became part of. So, real estate assurance fund would compensate that person for that fraud. Also, breach of trust or failure to disperse or account for money held in trust. So, this would be the deposit that somebody puts for holding the property. So, when an offer is accepted, somebody puts down a deposit and they're not able to get that money back. Any of those cases will be covered under the real estate assurance fund. So this applies to real estate as well as a mortgage deal as well. So if the fraud happened when buying a property or when getting a mortgage, both of these would be covered under the real estate assurance fund. Now, this is funded by both the real estate as well as the mortgage brokerage professionals. So when we pay the RECA fees, part of the RECA fees will go towards maintaining this real estate assurance fund. Now, in terms of the compensation, so if somebody suffered a financial loss, they are able to claim up to $35,000 per claimant, or up to $350,000 for all claimants. So if there was more than one person involved in this fraudulent scheme, they are able to get up to $350,000 in total, but each person can be compensated up to $35,000. The reason the real estate assurance fund is set up is because of RECA's commitment to consumer protection. So, as an industry, real estate professionals are committed to protecting the consumers, and one of the RECA's mandate is to protect the consumers. So, the real estate assurance fund helps support that commitment. So let's recap. So what is real estate assurance fund? It compensates consumers who suffer a financial loss. And this is a result of an industry professional committing either a fraud, a breach of trust, or failure to disperse or account for money held in trust. This is related to any real estate trade or mortgage deal. And this is part of the industry's commitment to consumer protection. And the fund may pay up to a maximum of $35,000 per claimant, or up to $350,000 for all claimants. Now, let's take a look at some of the exam questions that we may see around this topic. First one. What is the maximum the real estate assurance fund will pay per claimant per compensation event for damage or losses? And the options are A, $25,000, B, $35,000, C, $350,000, or D, $50,000. The correct answer here is B, $35,000 is what each claimant can get from the real estate assurance fund for any one event. Before, it used to be $25,000, but now it has been changed to $35,000. The next question is, what does the real estate assurance fund cover? And the options are A, errors, omissions, and commissions, B, errors, commissions, and fraud, C, errors, omissions, and negligent acts, or D, fraud, failure to disperse funds, and breach of trust. The correct answer here is D. Real estate assurance fund only covers fraud, failure to disperse funds, or a breach of trust. Any sort of errors, omissions, or negligent acts, all of these will be covered under REACS, which is the separate errors and omissions insurance that real estate agents carry. But real estate assurance fund is only to do with fraud, failure to disperse funds, or breach of trust. Therefore, the correct answer is D. Next question. Paul Chang is a real estate associate with ABC Realty. He meets Joe and Betty Hill, who are looking to downsize from their 4-bedroom house to a condo as they're getting older and not able to maintain the property. Paul lists the property below market value and then brings in an offer from his brother to purchase the property. Once the Hills children learn of this, they initiate a civil lawsuit against Paul Chang claiming fraud on his part. How do Hills go about getting compensated for their loss under this situation? And the options are A. REACS, B. Errors and omissions insurance, C. Homeowners insurance, or D. Real estate assurance fund. And the correct answer here is D. Real estate assurance fund. So in this case, we can clearly see that Joe and Betty Hill, who did not understand the value of their property, have been taken for a ride by Paul Chang. So he brings in an offer from his brother. He knows that the property is listed below market value and he wants to make a profit on the property. So in this case, he is taking advantage of Joe and Betty Hill. So in this case, the compensation would come from a real estate assurance fund. So REACS is only if the real estate agent has made an error or they have actually made a mistake. But in this case, this was clearly fraud. This was not an error on part of Paul. It was very clearly fraud. Therefore, the correct answer is D, Real Estate Assurance Fund. And that's it for today. If you would like some extra help in preparing for your Alberta real estate exam, I invite you to visit www.albertarealestateschool.com. Good luck with your exams, and I'll see you next time.